Donovan Judici. I'm a freshman right now, and my major is business.
My name is Carson Johnson. I'm a freshman, and my major is mechanical engineering.
My name is Danny Kim. I'm a hotel management major, and I'm a senior.
I didn't know much, just knew that it was somewhere in Asia, and that's about all I really knew.
I heard about a scholarship that they offered through the school, and I really kind of looked into it, looked into the city, and it turned out to be a really nice modern city, and I really thought it was a great opportunity.
Honestly, not that much. I just knew it was somewhere in Asia.
I worked with Jimmy and with Ryan on main campus and just kind of prepared a bunch of paperwork, and then that's about all the preparation I really did before actually showing up here.
I didn't really prepare much for an overseas study. It was a very quick thing. At the end of my first semester in school as a freshman, then I got a scholarship opportunity and applied, and a couple weeks later I got accepted, and I was pretty much on my way to going to Singapore.
I got in contact with Jimmy. I was kind of freaking out because I never traveled before, so I made sure I asked all my questions, emailed Jimmy like 50 times, and he took me through the steps.
I got in really late, like 2 in the morning, so it was a little scary. I had Jimmy pick me up, and he dropped me off at the hostel I was going to be staying in, and it was interesting.
I had one of the people that worked in the administration of the school pick me up at the airport, which was really nice. Have somebody to kind of bring you to your accommodations, and it was kind of like a culture shock when you get out of the car and you have all like the street vendors and the food all served right on the street. It was interesting. Let me just say that.
I got here past midnight, so everything was dead. And at first I was freaking out a little bit because it was new city, new people, but I got adjusted real quick.
Well, I was planning on looking for a place to stay when I first got here, but because we were only going to be here for a few months, it wasn't super easy to do because not many people want short-term leases, so I ended up just staying in a hostel with one of my friends here that actually I came with.
We actually planned to go with 3 people, and we were all going to rent a house, but at the last minute our friend actually backed out, so we ended up staying at a hostel because it was about the cheapest, and we wanted to travel around so we wouldn't have to pay rent while we were out of town.
There was the UNLV packet, which had some information about the housing, so I just picked one that was closest to school and went with it.
Just super basic accommodations, a bed in the room and shared shower with some other people, and they actually had breakfast in the morning, which was a nice plus, although what they consider to be breakfast here wasn't what I'm used to. It was just basically toast and jelly.
And the majority of the time in Singapore we stayed at a hostel. It was basic accommodations. It was affordable for us, and it allowed us to travel and not have to pay rent while we were out of town.
It was a clean place, it was close to school. It's like a 15-minute MRT ride to school, and they did your laundry. It was a fun experience at a high cost, obviously, but
really nice. It's a super close community. There's not very many, it's not super big, so everybody gets to know each other, and you do a lot of group projects, and it's kind of like a family feel here. It's really nice.
UNLV Singapore is a very unique college experience. It's a very small campus with minimal students, so it kind of feels more like a family. Everybody kind of feels closer together. There's not like 10,000 people that all go to one college. It's like 600, and everybody gets to know each other. We do a lot of group projects, so you really get involved with the students.
a lot of group projects, the classrooms are smaller, so you're engaged more. It's not a big lecture room where you're dozing off. So you're always engaged, always working with fellow classmates.
The main way we got around was you walk if it was close, or MRT if it was farther away. And if the MRT didn't go there, then I'd ride the bus.
We usually, we did a lot of walking. I mean, it's not that big of an island, so you can walk to most of the places because our accommodations were pretty centrally located, but we always used MRT, like public transport. Like they got a subway system and a bus system that are really well designed, so it makes it cheap transportation.
Just take the buses, MRT, everything's close by, so transportation is really not an issue here.
I only had one weekend job, and it was pretty easy. The pay was nice, and it was fun because I actually got to work a convention.
I only had one job personally while I was in Singapore for a weekend. It was working at a furniture convention. It was actually a very interesting job. I mean,
I was a bellman for Intercontinental Hotel. Got to network with different people from Malaysia, Singaporeans, so learning about their experiences and how they get to work every morning and every day, it was a humbling experience. So my main responsibility was to greet the guests and take their luggages and bring it up to their rooms.
Singapore's got a lot of unique sites. Probably one of my favorite would be Marina Bay Sands. It's a really nice hotel here. Going and swimming in the pool there at the top, that was an adventure that we got to do.
Singapore's got so many different types of food. It's just like a cultural mixing pot of food. It's really great. You can get cheap meals for anywhere from like $5 to $3. I mean, and they're really good. Very different, like authentic. I mean, there's a lot of Singapore local dishes that are really good. I mean, the food here is just wonderful. And some of the there's so many places to see. There's like the zoo, Marina Bay Sands, Clark Quay, Boat Quay. There's just a lot of places. I mean, like botanical gardens. There's just so many places to see and go spend time at. I mean, it's just a great atmosphere.
I would have to say Marina Bay Sands Hotel was an awesome experience. We got a chance to go up to the pool. It's a wonderful view, and once you get to Singapore, you realize all the buildings. Architecture here is amazing. So, my favorite food would have to be the stingray at the Hawker Center, the Newton Circus. I've never had anything like it before, and everyone should try it once they get here.
You got a couple different places you can go at night for nightlife. There's Clark Quay and Boat Quay, which are two places on the river. They're pretty cool. A lot of younger kids hanging out there. You got your clubs if you want to go to clubs or play pool, and just a couple different things to do.
The main party scenes would be Clark Quay, which is all like kind of high-end clubs and bar scene, it gets expensive. I mean, any kind of alcohol beverage is really high priced in Singapore. Beers are anywhere from $5 to $12, and it gets expensive to go out at night. But I mean, there's a lot of high-end clubs and just kind of laid-back bars you can go pull out with your friends. I mean, it's nice to go out at night.
It's a smaller scale version of Las Vegas. Obviously, I've only been to two clubs here, Zouk and Avalon. Avalon's located near MBS. And Zouk, it's awesome.
I traveled quite a bit. We traveled up to Phuket, Thailand, and then we traveled to Bali in Indonesia, and then up to Malaysia for some day trips to Johor Bahru and up to Kuala Lumpur and Indonesia in Batam. We were actually planning on taking the rest of the summertime or summer break here and going to travel a month through Thailand and then into Bangkok up to Cambodia and maybe up to Laos. So gonna take a month and explore Asia.
We actually did a lot of traveling when I stays in Singapore. It's probably some of the best times I had. We went up to Phuket and spent about a week there and traveled to Koh Phi Phi, which is an island near Phuket. It's a really nice place to go. If you come down here, you should really check it out. We also did traveling into Malaysia, did a couple day trips into Johor Bahru. Yeah. And we also did some traveling down to Indonesia. We took a ferry down to Indonesia, down to Batam. that was a really fun trip. I mean, we're so centrally located in Singapore, it makes traveling cheap, and it's some of the greatest sites in the world are really close around Singapore.
Yeah, I went to Batam in Indonesia, and then I also went to Johor Bahru in Malaysia, and I'll also be heading to Thailand soon. When I went to Batam, I wakeboarded for the first time. I couldn't get up, but it was still a fun experience. It was fun putting myself in an uncomfortable situation and just trying something new.
Be getting American food when you're craving it. There's not much American, like, a good steak or meat.
I expected that some of the challenge would be like a language barrier, but it's really surprising that a lot of people speak English. I mean, sometimes it's hard to understand people, but I mean, you can communicate with almost anybody around this part of the world. I mean, a lot of people know English. I mean, it's some of the main challenges would just be, I mean, you don't really find American culture in Singapore. If you want your American food, it's hard to find. I mean, you just kind of miss American lifestyle.
I think one of the most difficult part of this whole trip was finding housing. Kind of doing it myself and knowing which price was a good price to live at, which area. You learn to grow up a little bit in that sense and finding your own housing.
Probably traveling would be my most memorable moment. Would be when a couple of friends here decided to go to Batam, Indonesia. A last-minute trip. We probably planned it about an hour out, and about 2 hours later, the next thing you know, I'm sitting in a hotel in Indonesia, wanting to know what to do for the nightlife.
Some of my most memorable moments have to be traveling. We did traveling to Thailand was amazing. I mean, I can't really compare it to anything. It was just an awesome experience, and traveling even to Indonesia was a very interesting experience.
The most memorable moment was when I went to Johor Bahru, which was in Malaysia. It was at the time where nothing was going on. It was before finals. We just wanted to do a weekend trip, and Johor Bahru was a perfect place. It took 45 minutes bus ride there, and once we got there, it was election day over there, which we should have known before, but nothing really was going on. But we still found ways to entertain ourselves, eat some good food, just devour the culture and get massages. It was really a good time.
It's definitely a really good experience, and it's super easy to come here and have all your credits transfer, and I definitely recommend it to other students, especially in the hotel college, because they can get a lot of their relevant classes here.
I would highly recommend studying here at Other Rebels. It's a great campus, it's a great school, and it's just the culture and being able to travel to a new country within hours is it's just awesome. It's a really cool experience. Southeast Asia has some of the best sightseeing and some of the best traveling I've ever been.
Yeah, I was actually the type that always said I was going to study abroad, and I never did it. And once I did it, it was a really good experience. No matter where you go, everyone should study abroad once in their school year, and Singapore is the best place.
Pack light, leave all your jeans and sweatshirts at home, and travel often and every chance you get, because you're close to everything, and there's just so much you can see here.
I would recommend that students find nice accommodations. Find something close to school. Accommodations close to school always help. For us, we didn't have to travel. A lot of students have to travel like an hour to get to school, but we lived right next to campus, so it was only we could walk to campus. It was really nice.
Say getting in touch with Jimmy and the staff at UNLV, because they've been here, they know the city, they know the process, so you don't ever have to freak out going to a new country. Just keep in contact with them, and they'll take you through each step.